Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. Gas prices in the province have significantly lowered in recent days. Some stations in Saskatoon are selling fuel for as low as $1.12 a litre, $1.14 in Prince Albert and $1.17 in Regina. One expert explains it's likely the result of a switch to winter blends of gasoline combined with changes to the value of the Canadian dollar.
We've gone away from summer blend gasoline to winter blend gasoline. That's a savings of about 9 or 10 cents a litre. And that's one of the main reasons why we've seen prices drop. The Canadian dollar has strengthened a tiny bit until very recently, where it's weakened again.
He says the cheapest time of day to buy gas is after 6, when retailers have already made enough money to cover their daily costs. The province is celebrating the opening of its new gun lab. The Saskatchewan Ballistics Laboratory officially moved from its temporary home at the Saskatoon Police Service and is already speeding up police investigations. The $3.3 million lab has the latest technology to allow for controlled testing, detailed analysis, and partnerships with police agencies across the world. Staff at the lab say what took months to send out of province to analyze is now taking hours, and it's helping move cases through the court system in a timely manner.
It's based on the speed by which you can bring a firearm in, get it analyzed, get it into the hands of investigators, so that within, we're not talking day turnaround, we need to be talking hour turnaround to have a significant impact.
Earlier this year, the lab got praise from the U.S. Department of Justice after analysts were able to trace a gun found in Saskatchewan back to an unsolved homicide in Atlanta. The trial for a man accused of killing his girlfriend began today at Saskatoon's Court of King's Bench. 28-year-old Andrew Rosenfeld is charged with second-degree murder in the death of 20-year-old Nakira Brown. She was found dead inside a home on Avenue P South on November 15, 2022. This morning, Rosenfeld formally pleaded not guilty. He sat in the prisoner's box, clean-shaven, wearing glasses and a graphic tee. In the gallery, Brown's family wore purple shirts in her memory. There were also Megan Gallagher's sister and stepmom showing support for the family as the trial gets underway. The government of Saskatchewan is unveiling its plans to power the province in the future. Today, Minister responsible for Sask Power, Jeremy Harrison, spoke about the Saskatchewan First Energy Security Strategy and Supply Plan. It includes extending the life of coal-fired power plants to bridge the transition to nuclear power. In 2016, the federal government passed regulations requiring all coal-fired power plants to be closed down after 50 years of use or by 2030. Harrison says the province plans to rebuild coal power plants to run up to 2050, with work on Boundary Dam 4 already underway. The move has faced backlash from the Saskatchewan Environmental Society, which says coal is a large contributor to climate change. But Harrison says the province won't apologize for using coal.
This is what makes sense. We've been doing coal here in Saskatchewan for 100 years. Why would we spend $10 billion on gas plants? We would be importing gas from outside of Saskatchewan, by the way.
Harrison also spoke about a $700 million plan to connect Saskatchewan's northern and southern power grids from E.B. Campbell in Nipawin up to Island Falls. All right, Jeff, a new week, a little bit colder than it was last week, but what do we got in terms of that precipitation?
Well, a little bit of precipitation is anticipated. It's sort of a yucky day today, and it looks like tomorrow will be still in the yuckiness. But things are going to improve in terms of the temperatures. In fact, we're going to be seeing above seasonal temperatures for most of the week into the early part of the weekend. And we're really just sort of keeping our eye on this low that's sort of cycling around in the Dakotas, and it's impacting parts of Saskatchewan and Manitoba for that matter. And we'll just wait and see how that shapes up, because as I say, other than that, we have fairly quiet conditions in the forecast, and we'll talk about that a little later on.
The NDP is sharing a 5-point plan that it believes will help address the addictions crisis. The plan includes increasing funding for harm reduction and inpatient treatment beds, on and off First Nations, increasing inpatient detox services, funding sober living homes with wraparound services, focusing on recruiting and retaining addictions and mental health workers, and ensuring involuntary treatment is only used as a last resort for those who pose a serious risk to themselves or the public.
These are people's mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, and grandparents who are dying. We need action and real investments now.
CTV has reached out to the provincial government for comment. The province has previously announced plans to add 500 addictions treatment spaces in Saskatchewan, with most expected to be ready next year. Volunteers with St. John Ambulance were recognized for their medical services provided during Saskatchewan's challenging wildfire season. An investiture ceremony was held in Regina, honoring paramedics and therapy dogs for their assistance with first aid and emergency responses. More than 30 people were recognized for their efforts. Organizers say the volunteers provided comfort and compassion to wildfire evacuees, helping those you needed it the most.
It's a day that allows us to thank everyone, invest them as members of the order, provide thank yous to everyone who's done extraordinary service. We've got life-saving awards for individuals of the public who have saved lives, and we've got therapy dogs, a little bit of everything.
St. John Ambulance has 300 community service workers in Saskatchewan who deliver about 30,000 hours annually in response services. Last month was the first official meeting for Prince Albert's new Boreal Cornhole League. In Cornhole, points are scored by throwing beanbags at a board across the room. Landing a bag on the board is worth 1 point, and a beanbag that goes through the target at the top of the board is worth 3. Before September, Prince Albert's avid cornhole players needed to go out of town to play tournaments. Player Joe Beckson decided to take matters into his own hands and founded the Boreal Cornhole League, which is now active out of the local Legion.
Been between 25 and 30 players each night, and we're open to all ages, so we've had 12-year-olds right up to seniors.
The All Ages League meets at 6:30 on Thursday evenings. After the break, a Halloween-themed science activity. Find out about Slime Lab and other upcoming events at the Prince Albert Science Centre. It happened over the weekend. It was very exciting and very fun activity for families. I'm joined by Sandra Williams, the chair of the board of the Prince Albert Science Centre, who's joining us today to talk about the activity that's going to happen for one more weekend. Slime Lab took place over the weekend, and why not get a double dose of slime? So what is this activity all about, Sandra?
Oh, thank you very much for having me. So our next Slime Lab will be on October 25th and 26th. And as you mentioned, the Slime Lab that we had on October 18th and 19th was a super success. People came in to really enjoy the slimy weekend. It's hands-on building of slime, and who doesn't like slime? Everybody does. We'd say it's an event for anyone probably 3 years of age and older. And it's, like I said, it's all hands-on. People have a chance to come in and make up to 3 different types of slime. They can take home in their container 2 slimes that they've paid $10 for. We really appreciated the adult participation that we had this past weekend, and so we expect that again this weekend coming up. And we have a whole bunch of different Halloween and fall type add-ins to make the slime that much more slimy, if you will. And we're just really excited at the Science Centre to have science-based activities. That's what we're all about. And slime is a science-based activity.
Can you tell us a little bit about maybe were there any mistakes made over the weekend?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, mistakes happened all the time. And that's another beauty of science, is that scientists will tell you that, they have a hypothesis and they try it out, do some experimentation, and lo and behold, it didn't work. So they try it again. And so just like in a real science lab, we at the Prince Albert Science Centre want to have our budding scientists, if you will, to experiment and learn that mistakes are okay. And that's all about learning, and that's all about experimentation. And slime is kind of, slime's kind of like baking in a sense. You want to have some exact measurements, and you want to mix it in as carefully as you can. And it's gooey, messy fun. And who doesn't like that? Everybody does.
And I was going to say, you can't just be all science. You got to have a little bit of fun. So you mentioned there were some little kind of add-ins that maybe have maybe a Halloween theme or a kind of a fall theme.
Sure. Adding some spiders or ants. We've got some foam pieces, even scents, because, we want to make sure the little, our scientists that come are really getting the whole full meal deal, if you will, with the hands-on, the touching, the different sensory elements to making slime. So they can add some scents to it. They can add some texture to it. So come on out to the Prince Albert Science Center and mess at our place, because we don't mind cleaning it up.
There you go. I was going to say, yeah, I mean, for one hand, it's probably a kids and adults event, because what adult doesn't want to actually, dig into some slime and have some fun and be a kid again? So one more time, just for this weekend coming up, where and when is the Slime Lab event taking place?
It'll be October 25th and 26th at our location, the Prince Albert Science Center, located in Gateway Mall in Prince Albert. The event runs on the Saturday and Sunday from 12 noon till 4 p.m.
And then not to put too much onto everybody's plate, because it's just activities galore, but you mentioned there's another one coming down the pipe in, I think it'll be in November. So what's that event going to be?
Right. In November, we're going to have our Brick Lab, which has been for us a really huge success. I'd like people to watch for that on our Facebook page that is labeled Prince Albert Science Center, or on our website. We have our personal website, which is princealbertsciencecenter.ca. And those there'll be 2 weekends in November for Brick Lab. So hopefully we'll see a lot of people out for that.
All right. Well, that sounds like pretty exciting things happening down at the Prince Albert Science Center. That's Sandra Williams, the chair of the board. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Jeff has weather after the break, then one man's life saved by a free medicine, laughter. Well, lots of different winter weather starting to creep little by little into our future, but definitely some wind today.
Definitely windy conditions. A little bit of snow this morning in the Prince Albert area, John. And then, of course, on again, off again sort of showers, not really big-time rain that has been impacting much of, the central and northern parts of the province, but certainly it's still being impacted. We've got this large low-pressure area. It's sort of slowly cycling up into northern Ontario, but on the backhand side, we're seeing some of that. But the important thing is that it doesn't look as though this is going to be a week-long event. In fact, it's going to be wrapping up real soon, because as we make our way into tomorrow, as you can see, the futurecast, the computer modeling indicating, yes, some active weather, some snow expected up in northern areas, and then sort of a north-south line as the system slides in from Alberta. You can sort of see it like this. So a bit of a rain-snow mix, but it's not widespread rain that is going to bring a ton of precipitation. So we'll keep our eye on that. And, of course, there is that system continuing to move into parts of Ontario. Now, let's take a closer look at what we expect overnight. So in many places, it's some light showers and clearing skies, or at least partly cloudy conditions overnight. Some locations will be seeing some fog patches develop. But let's take a look at the numbers. -2 for Spiritwood, -1 for the Battlefords, -2 for the overnight temperature in Candle Lake, -1 in Birch Hills, -2 in Rostern. Nipawin, about a 30% chance of showers, -1 degree, in a similar situation for Melfort. And as we take a look at tomorrow, these temperatures are still below seasonal. Well, not for the Battlefords. Battlefords, it's above seasonal, but 8 degrees in Spiritwood with mainly cloudy skies. Some showers expected in the Battlefords region. That's 11. 6 for Candle Lake under cloudy skies. Partly are there chances, some showers, about a 30% chance of showers in Birch Hills. 7 degrees. 8 degrees for Rostern under cloudy skies in both Melfort and Nipawin, anticipating some shower activity on wet Tuesday. And as you can see, temperatures of 7 in Nipawin and 6 in Melfort. 4 Prince Albert and area. So tonight, about a 30% chance of showers, -2 the overnight temperature, and the winds backing off, starting off from the north at 20, gusting to 40, but then backing off. And then tomorrow, wind picks up a little bit, but these are just moderate winds. Cloudy skies, winds out of the southwest at 15 with 7 degrees for a daytime high, and as I mentioned, under cloudy skies. But then look at this trend. 9 degrees on Wednesday. That's pretty much close to seasonal, and then seasonal temperatures on Thursday and Friday, and above seasonal Fresno for Saturday, 14 big degrees, and then 10 degrees on Sunday. Monday, we've got ourselves some showers and about a 60% chance of that showing up at a high of 8 degrees. So all in all, when we take a look at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, temperatures a little warmer than they would be for the latter part of October.
I'm looking at those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday overnight lows, and it's kind of giving me flashbacks to some game-by-games in the Western Hockey League. -2, -2, -2. There you go. Tell you what, Jeff, you know who's not playing too bad right now? The Saskatoon Blades and the Prince Albert Raiders. They're both playing good hockey, although it is early in the WHL season. The Blades were busy with 3 games in 3 nights, a home-and-home, splitting wins with the Moose Jaw Warriors, then a 4-3 win at home on Sunday against Edmonton. That means the Blades are 9-3, first place in the Eastern Conference. Meanwhile, the Raiders have been less busy, but they've yet to lose a game in regulation this season. The Raiders lost in overtime on Saturday to the Edmonton Oil Kings, but with a 7-0-2 record, they sit third in the East, despite having the best win percentage. The Raiders are at home Friday against Swift Current, and the Blades on their U.S. road trip are in Everett Friday. The Saskatoon Hilltops have punched their ticket to the conference finals.
Elias, now they hand it off, and it's David Collins again. He gets through a seam, and David Collins down to the 20. Could he take it all the way? Yes!
Hilltops running back David Collins rushed for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Charles Sawi also ran for 104 yards and a pair of touchdowns as the Hilltops beat the Rifles 60-26. Collins was also among 7 Hilltops who were selected as conference all-stars this season. The Hilltops travel to Regina this weekend for the conference championship against the Thunder. Saskatoon and Regina split their 2 meetings this season, each team earning a 3-point victory. The conference championship goes Sunday afternoon in Regina. Mount Royal Collegiate's 38th Mustang Volley Tournament drew talent from across the province to Saskatoon over the weekend. The 3-day volleyball tournament invites senior teams to compete in both the tournament and a spike skills competition. Organizers say it's all possible thanks to a number of staff and students who volunteer their time.
It's very crazy. Some games are like very close, some are like frustrating, but overall it's fun. Everyone's enjoying themselves, even the people in the crowds.
Saskatoon Holy Cross taking the win in the boys division, and Saskatoon St. Joseph girls winning in their division.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
One BC man discovered that laughter could save his life and get him global recognition. Adam Sawatsky has more.
When Kelly Podlubny was growing up, his dad would play Santa Claus.
He was a very jolly individual. That's where I got all my joy from.
While there were a whole lot of ho-hos, Kelly's childhood was filled with even more ha-has.
That really taught me that it's okay to have joy in my life.
But then Kelly's life took a couple unexpected turns, and along the way, he lost that joy.
I like to describe myself as being a shadow of a person.
After hitting his rock bottom and finding the courage to get help, Kelly happened upon a video about the health benefits of laughter.
And she said, "I have cancer." And then she started laughing. You know.
What did you think about that?
I thought that was the strangest thing I've ever seen.
So Kelly started researching and discovered a local laughter yoga group.
Breathe in and laugh out. That dopamine gets released, and then all of a sudden I start to feel better.
When he wasn't cracking up during traffic congestion while working as a transit driver, Kelly found himself chortling through life's inevitable challenges.
Laughter was something that saved my life.
So Kelly decided to pay it forward by teaching, before being encouraged to try competing.
What if there was a sport dedicated to spreading contagious joy?
After participating in 8 chortle challenges, including most diabolical laugh, Kelly won the Canadian Laughter Championships before qualifying to compete in the Worlds.
Canada, what's your best self-laugh?
After facing off on Zoom against a gang of global guffaws from Russia to South Africa in categories ranging from sexiest laugh to crying laugh, Kelly made it to the final round. And after laughing at himself for more than 55 seconds, was crowned world champion.
It was very gratifying to find out that my laughter is the most contagious in the world.
And while Kelly's dad didn't live long enough to see his son's success, he's no doubt proud his boy grew up, like Santa, to share his joyful gifts with the globe. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
Not bad, eh? We got to test out our laugh one day, see if we can make it for a whole 55 seconds, Jeff. I don't know if we can do it. I think I'd lose my breath.
I might lose my lunch.
There you go. Well, anyways, let's finish off with a little bit of sweet treat stuff. The price of Halloween candy is definitely not a treat for people's wallets. According to the 2025 Halloween Treat Cost Report, Canadians will spend 10 to 20% more this year on candy, and that's not necessarily because we're buying more. So what's the reason? You probably guessed shrinkflation. The price tag on one of the most popular items, the assorted Nestle chocolates, ranges in price depending where you shop. Some people are considering handing out alternatives this year, Jeff, and I'll ask you, this one's noted as fruit. I don't know. Would you ever give anyone fruit if you decided on it?
Okay, I probably said this last year. I gave out raisins one year, and I caught heck from my siblings. You know, we were all living together, and I was like, hey, it's nature's candy. And I was considered like a Halloween Grinch for doing that. So.
Funny enough, like out of all the fruits that someone could throw into a trick or treat, I mean, raisins, I do remember the little red box of raisins.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sun-made.
Yeah, you'd open it up and it would all be one big, like, mushy raisin. So you just take it out.
It's not mushy. They're just stuck together with the natural sugars that are great for you.
Exactly. I remember those ones for sure. But there you go. I definitely won't.
What's your favorite? Come on.
Oh, Henry. Probably my favorite. Oh, Henry or Coffee Crisp. How about you?
Yeah, and Snickers.
It's a good choice, too.
Snickers.
National news is coming up.